So we're saying one way kidney stones can form is when urine produced in the kidneys is overly concentrated with calcium or oxalate. Okay, so this is one way that kidneys can form. Reducing dietary calcium has been thought, therefore, to decrease the likelihood that calcium will concentrate and form additional stones. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, because if we need, like, if whenever our urine has a lot of calcium in it, then we get more kidney stones. It would make sense that we reduce calcium. We might have less stones. But oddly enough, for many people, the chances of recurrence are decreased by increasing calcium intake. What? So what we want to find first is, what are the two facts that are like kind of conflicting with each other here?
The two, reducing dietary calcium has been thought, therefore, to decrease the likelihood that calcium will concentrate and form additional stones.
So why is this thought so?
You said, why is it what?
Like, why do they think this?
Why
Like,
do
this
they
is what
think
they think would be true. Because of why?
Because they're reducing dietary calcium, or because
kidney stones can form when urine produces it's overly concentrated with calcium, right? Like, that's what causes kidney stones.
Okay.
So because kidney stones can form when we have too much calcium in our urine, it's thought that if you would reduce your calcium, then you would have less stones. But actually what happens is, oddly enough, for many people, the chances of reoccurrence are decreased by increasing calcium. So really, our two weird facts that are happening are kidney stones can happen whenever our urine produced in the kidneys is overly concentrated with calcium. So that's what can form it. But for some reason, the reoccurrence of kidney stones actually goes down when we increase our calcium. So we want to try to think of, like, how can these two things be true at the same time? It can be tricky. You can come up with something out of left field too. So I'm like, what I'm thinking about right now is, I'm like, okay, so we're saying our urine has a lot of calcium in it, and that forms kidney stones, but why would drinking more calcium or having more calcium actually reduce my chances? Like, I'm thinking, like, maybe whenever, like, maybe it's like, you know, like they tell you, like, not to starve yourself when you lose weight, because then your body like tries to hold on to every calorie and you actually like can like put on weight. Like, you have to eat a healthy amount. Well, maybe when you don't eat enough calcium, like, your body holds on to the calcium, and that's why like kidney stones form. Or whenever you eat like a healthy amount of calcium, your body regulates or something. I don't know. That might be a ridiculous thing, but that's what my
so my friend has kidney stones, and I kind of pretty much know the answer. My friend has suffered from kidney stones, so she eat a lot of food with calcium, although kidney stones are formed from calcium. So she eats a lot of calcium, and then the calcium that she eats eliminates the calcium that she already has. So that's
our answer that we're looking for. Look at you. You actually know. All right, so now we want to, okay, so if that's an answer, that's great. But whenever we make our prediction, like, we have to be open-minded to other things too, of like, could this possibly work? So let's go ahead and start with A. Does that explain why this could be happening?
No.
No, it's like, just because that's happening in lab studies on animals, that doesn't explain why this is happening here. So we can cross that off. What about B?
It could be.
All right, so let's leave this one for a second. What about C?
I wouldn't use that.
You wouldn't or you would?
I wouldn't.
Right, because this is just saying that like kidney stone can come from whenever we excessively produce calcium and oxalate. And it's like, so then why does that mean, like, that's almost the opposite of what we're looking for.
Right.
So we can cross C off. All right, well, what about D?
I really like that one.
That's literally your prediction, so that's nice. All right, what about E?
I don't like that one.
Some kidney stones are composed of uric. Yeah, we don't care about these other ones. We're talking specifically about the situation. And then just as review, what does some mean?
Some is like probably one.
At least
And-
one.
And then at least one, and then I guess most is like more than 50.
More than 50%.
More than 50%, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so now, I mean, I think we can agree that D is our answer, but let's figure out why B is incorrect.
Okay. Increasing dietary oxalate while reducing dietary calcium does not reduce the chance of kidney stone recurrence. I don't know.
So like, just because increasing this and reducing dietary doesn't reduce it, that doesn't help explain why when we actually increase our calcium, we decrease kidney stones. This is just saying what happens when we do reduce calcium, right? Like that doesn't, reducing calcium doesn't help explain why increasing does the other. So it's not actually referencing both of our facts that we're looking at. Where like D actually explains why calcium increase could possibly result in lower kidney stones. So it's like,
So basically,
specific.
to get the answer, we simply just found the two statements that were true, and which would no.
We found, no, I think what you're saying is like, we found the answer that explained what made the two, like what allowed the two statements to be true. Right, does that make sense?
Yes.
Excellent. Yep. I think you grab, yeah.